Hello, I'm Will, this is Mike, we're the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And in this video we're bringing you issue 61 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine. With this issue we got the first part of an Enduring Stormvault set with an altar and some bridges and some braziers. If you want to see these in the game on the new Realm of Fire board, you can use the timecode in the description or in the chapter bar, but we'll have a look inside this issue before we get there. First up we have a bit about the Stormvaults that these terrain pieces represent or are linked to. Stormvaults are great repositories which Sigmar set up during the Age of Myth and hid powerful artefacts in to make sure that they didn't fall into the wrong hands. But then when the Necroquake happened that created the hordes of Nighthaunt, some of these broke open and were looted. Here's a description of a particular one, the Cloister of Ashes in the Realm of Fire, and some of the artefacts that are kept in it. Then we have some background on the Realm of Fire, because that's where we're moving to in this issue, Aqshy. Despite the name, it's not entirely volcanic, but it does tend to be warm and quite dangerous in a lot of places, at particular large sections are under the control of the forces of chaos. The inhabitants tend to believe it's best to live life fast and hard, so they tend to be risk takers, and because they live in a dangerous land, but those who survive make for brave warriors. Then we have some background on the Thunderscorn. These are more of the beasts of chaos, ancient creatures that resemble the top half of an ogre fused with the body of a dragon. And they grow larger and more powerful as they get older. They just seek to destroy things. And here we have the specific types. We have the dragon ogres there, and then at the bottom the Shaggoths, which are the largest and most ancient of the dragon ogres. And we have some background on Glimsforge, a city of Sigmar in the Realm of Death. This was founded by settlers in the Age of Sigmar and has so far resisted the attacks of particularly the forces of death that Nagash has sent against them. It also houses a Stormkeep of the Anvils of the Heldenhammer Stormhost. And on the back there's two characters, both of whom are originally natives. There's Nossos Heavenson, who is now Stormcast Eternal. He was a descendant of one of the founders of the original city. But also Malandrek, a Knight of Shrouds of the Nighthaunt, who was once one of the defenders of the city, but then became envious of the Stormcast Eternals and ended up betraying his city and was made into a Knight of Shrouds on his death. Then we have the build instructions for the scenery we got with this issue. We've got the braziers first. They're quite easy to put together, just 3 pieces. And then the bridges are a single piece each, and then the altar is made up of 5 pieces, but they all go together quite easily. And then the painting instructions, following the scheme that we've been given previously, so the kind of off-white stone colour. But the altar has a section on top that it suggests painting blue. Then there are some gold details to be added, and it also has a guide for how to paint the fire in the braziers, and some corrosion on the metal parts. And there are the finished pieces there. But that's it for this issue content, so now we'll be on to our game for this issue.
So, before we can get into our game for this issue, we have some new rules to learn about, or rather, some clarifications on some old rules. We have learned about triumphs before, well, they were certainly mentioned, but now we're getting an official tutorial for them. So from now on, whenever one of us wins a game, we get to roll on the triumph table. You can see there's 3 options here, and these are effectively a once per game bonus that you get in your next game. So inspired is you can pick a unit when it's selected to shoot or fight, and it can reroll failed hit rolls until the end of the phase. Bloodthirsty is the same but for wound rolls rather than hit rolls, and Indomitable allows you to reroll failed saves until the end of the phase. These players are marking off who won, so who gets to roll on the triumph table. There's just a little explanation of each on the other side, but they're fairly simple to understand. And a short bit of fiction here, so the Stormcast Eternals have followed the Nighthaunt onto Aqshy, the Realm of Fire, and a secretary is just noting how the cities of Hammerhorn, Hallowheart and other cities of Sigmar are on the Realm of Fire, and if they don't stop the Nighthaunt here, those cities will be under threat. And then you can see we have 2 tables of forces to pick from, but these are only the heroes who are available. And then just some more background on what the 2 forces are doing here. Essentially the Nighthaunt have managed to bring some Chamonite, but not as much as they would like. And they want to combine that with grave sand and some obsidian gathered from Aqshy for whatever nefarious purpose they desire. And they need to locate a suitable forge to do that in. Meanwhile, the Stormcast Eternals are currently looking for a good point to form a base of operations in order to try and find the Nighthaunt stronghold and destroy it. There are some optional rules here. You can see we have the Realm of Fire board, which we'll be playing on. This just has an optional rule for the river of lava that runs through it. Essentially, if you move over the river by any means other than the bridges, the unit will take D3 mortal wounds once it finishes the move. Obviously, the bridges are safe. And we will use this rules, but it is noted that it is optional, in addition to the Realm of Fire rules, which we'll be learning about in a later issue. And now we can finally get into our game of the Battleplan Heroic Skirmish. So we have the Realm of Fire board. We'll be putting up the terrain we got in this issue on it, but there is some printed statues that are relevant. Otherwise, there's no other rules for terrain. We get to use a triumph, and so since I won the previous game, the Gates of Fire, I get to roll for one. I just roll it randomly before the battle begins. For our armies, we have 5 choices each from our list of heroes, and obviously units with a star take 2 choices, so that's going to be the Lords Arcanum and Reikenor. The game will last for 5 battle rounds, and it's whoever has the most victory points wins. And you get victory points at the end of your turn for each objective you control, and each objective is worth a number of victory points equal to the battle round is. So in battle round 2 they're worth 2 each, in battle round 3 they're worth 3 each, and so on. You see the 2 objectives sort of halfway between the 2 armies. And actually there's some ones in here you can cut out. We're just going to use ones I've made. So we'll have a look at the armies we've chosen for this issue, and then come back after we've set up. So here we have the heroes I've picked for my forces. We have Reikenor the Grimhaler, the Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed, the Guardian of Souls, and the Spirit Torment.
And these are the Stormcast heroes I've chosen. We've got the Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger, the Knight Azeros, the Lord Exorcist, and the Knight Questor.
So there we've got the board set up and we've finished deployment. So you can see we have our 2 objectives, one here and one here, 3 inches away from the board edge. And then there's the 2 bridges and the little vault over there. And as usual, the printed terrain we don't have, we just ignore that. Well, for deployment, I have the Spirit of Torment, then the Knight of Shrouds, Guardian of Souls on top of the vault, and Reikenor over there in the back. And I'll make Reikenor my general, I suppose.
And over on my side, we're all kind of bunched up in the middle. We've got the Lord Exorcist, the Lord Arcanum, the Knight Azeros, and the Knight Questor. And the Lord Arcanum might as well be my general.
So since I won the previous game, I get to roll for a Triumph 2. That is inspired, so that allows I can pick a unit to re-roll failed hit rolls once per battle. And we're going to be rolling off to see who goes first in battle round 1. No.
You finish the point first.
Yeah, so I get to choose. So I'm actually going to make the Stormcast go first, because I won't be in range to use Arcane Bolt. I could move up and get some victory points, but the objectives are only worth 1 victory point so far, so I think we'll try and play the long game and make the Stormcast go first. So we'll head into Stormcast turn 1.
So I gain a command point, and then we'll try and do Mystic Shield with the Lord Arcanum, I suppose. Needing a 6. Nope, not with a 5. So that failed, and none of my other spells are in range to do anything useful, so we'll just be on to the movement phase. Everybody's moved up. We've got 2 models on each of the 2 objectives. The 2 foot sloggers had to run, but there's no shooting, so nothing else to be done for my turn.
Yeah, but at the end of the turn, the Stormcast will control both objectives and gain 2 victory points. In the hero phase, I gain a command point, and then Reikenor is going to try and cast Arcane Bolt. He's not going to use any of his corpse candles, so he needs a 5. Oh, we got a 5.
Try and bind that with the Lord Exorcist, I suppose. Oh no, it didn't, with a 4.
Oh, so I'll do a mortal wound to the Knight Azeros.
So he's down to 4.
Then the Guardian of Souls will try and cast Mystic Shield, needing a 6. Ooh, getting an 11.
Well, I can unbind it on a 12 with the Lord Arcanum. No.
So he's going to put that on Reikenor. My movement phase, we're going to be aggressive. The Knight of Shrouds moved up normally and might do some charging. The Spirit Torment ran, as did the Guardian of Souls. They both rolled a 6 each, so they're both going to try and get to back up their respective other hero. And Reikenor's moved up his 14 inches because he's slightly speedier than the Knight of Shrouds. And we'll be on to the charge phase. Well, I'll do Reikenor first because he's much more important. Reikenor's going to charge, getting a 10. So Reikenor is going to charge into the Knight Azeros. And then the Knight of Shrouds will charge as well, I think. So the Knight of Shrouds gets a 7. That might be enough to get him to where I want him to go. So the Knight of Shrouds is going to charge into the Lord Exorcist like that. And then I will use the Knight of Shrouds command ability on Reikenor for the extra attacks. And then I will pick Reikenor to go first, and he'll put all of his attacks on the Knight Azeros. I'm also going to use my Triumph, so Reikenor is inspired, so he gets to reroll all failed hits. He is actually within 12 of the Spirit Torment, but I'd rather reroll all failed hits rather than just rerolling ones. So Reikenor has 5 attacks with Fell Reaper, hitting on 4s, rerolling everything, and 6s do 2 mortal wounds. Right, there's a 6 there, and 2 regular hits, and we reroll these 2 misses. Oh, into a 6. So 2 regular hits, that wound on 2s. Getting a single wound.
Only ren -1, so 4 plus save. I succeeded, so 4 mortal wounds so far.
Yeah, and we've got Reikenor's Horse, which has 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, rerolling everything. Good job, we can reroll everything. getting 2 hits, and wounding on 3s, getting nothing. So the Knight of Azeroth will take 4 mortal wounds.
But because he has exactly 4 wounds left, I can use the Cycle of the Storm from the Lord Arcanum to keep him alive on 1 wound, because he goes down to 0 and then dies and is kept alive.
Yeah.
So it's important that I pass that save and the horse did no damage, basically. And I'm going to pick the Lord Exorcist to go because he needs to pile in so that he can get out of the way of the Lord Arcanum, so he can pile in and get his full attacks with his Griff Charger as well later in the turn. Lord Exorcist will pile into there. He has 4 attacks which hit on 3s, 2 hits only, and they wound on 3s. Only 1 wound.
4+ save, failed.
It does D3 damage, or 3 at least.
So he's down to 3 wounds.
But re-rolling the 2 1s, so they both hit. And wounding on 3s, just the 1.
4+ save, made it. So I'm going to pick the Knight of Shrouds to go next, and he's piled in such that he's actually now out of sight of 3 of the Lord Arcanum. He's going to put all of his attacks on the Lord Exorcist. So the Knight of Shrouds has 4 attacks with his Sword of Stolen Hours, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s because the Spirit Torment is nearby. And they all hit. Wounding on 3s because he's not within range of the Guardian of Souls. Well, they all wound. -1 range.
4+ save. Failed 2, that's 4 damage so far.
And then we've got 2 attacks from the Knight of Shrouds Steed, hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s. Well, there's 1, re-roll that. Into a hit. Wounds on a 5. It does.
3+ save. Oh, shoot. He lives. He's done 1 wound.
So the Lord Exorcist is down to 1 wound.
So the Lord Arcanum is now outside of 3 inches, so I've got my other 2 heroes to fight. We'll do the Knight Questor first. Scratch that, we're going to have to do the Knight Azeroth first, because the Knight Questor currently can't pile in without going over the lava. So the Knight Azeroth will pile in round to give him some space, and then he gets to attack. So 4 attacks hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s because of himself. 2 2s aren't helpful though, and we'll rerolling on 3s. Just the 1.
4+ save, rerolling 1s because of Mystic Shield. We'll reroll that 1 into a 1. So Rykon goes down to 6 wounds.
And that leaves me with just the Knight Questor to pick. He'll pile in all the way around the back because he has a 6-inch pile-in move as long as he finishes it within an inch of an enemy hero. And then he obviously has all his attacks on Rykon. 4 attacks hitting on 3s, rerolling misses because he's attacking a hero. So we can reroll that 1, reroll it anyway. So they all hit. Wounding on 3s, 6s are 2 damage. We've got 2 wounds, no 6s.
4+ save, rerolling 1s. Made 1, failed 1. Rykon goes down to 5 wounds. Yeah, don't take hold of any of the objectives, they merely contest them, so that'll be the end for battle round 1. Rolling off for battle round 2. Oh, I got a 5 to a 4. I'm going to choose to go first. So in the hero phase, I get a command point, and straight up, Rykon's going to use his corpse candles to do a mortal wound to the Knight Azeroth.
Well, I will use Cycle of the Storm to keep him alive when he takes that wound.
Okay, but Rykon still gets his +1 to cast. Then the Guardian of Souls will try and cast Arcane Bolt, needing a 5, getting an 11.
So that's the big one, unless I roll a 12 with the Lord Exorcist. Nope.
He's just going to use it on the Lord Exorcist and do 2 wounds, but that's not going to. So the Lord Exorcist will be killed. And then Rykon is going to try and cast Wraith Storm. So this has a casting value of 7, but I get +1 to the roll. No, I only get a 4, so he fails to cast. There isn't really going to be much movement. The Guardian of Souls is going to shift slightly so that it's easier to get the Knight of Shrouds in range for his aura. But other than that, there isn't going to be any more movement or charging. So it's going to go straight to the combat phase where Rykon is going to put all of his attacks on the Knight Azeroth because we need to kill him off. Yeah, I will actually spend a command point to give him an extra attack as well from the Knight of Shrouds. So 5 attacks hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s because of the Spirit Torment. 6s do mortal wounds. No 6s. Reroll that 1. Into a hit. Wounding on 2s. Getting 1. Come on.
So I have to pass the 4+ save, which I have.
Well, his horse is going to have to finish the job. 4 attacks hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Getting 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. Getting 2 wounds.
2 3+ saves. Oh, there we go.
And finally, that is enough to kill the Knight Azeroth. But then the Knight Questor, can he kill Rykon and maintain hold of that objective?
4 attacks hitting on 3s, rerolling everything. Thankfully, because he's a hero. So we've got 4 hits. And wounding on 3s, we've got 2 wounds, but one of them is a 6 for 2 damage.
Yeah, so I do the 2 damage on a 4+, failed, so Rykon's down to 3. And then the 1 damage, save that one at least. So Rykon is down to 3 wounds, and that'll actually be the end of the turn, where I will now take control of both objectives, because I have 2 models next to each one, and they're worth 2 victory points now, so I go up to 4. But then we'll be on to Stormcast turn 2.
So I gain a command point, and nobody needs healing, so it's going to be an Arcane Bolt from the Lord Arcanum. Needing a 5. Getting a 5.
I'll try and unbind that. Might as well do it with Rykenor, doesn't really matter. Unbind it with a 10.
So we'll have to do everything a different way. The Lord Arcanum has moved to there, and then he will declare a charge in the charge phase. Yeah, he rolls a 7, that's good. And he'll charge to there, and then at the start of the combat phase, he will blow up all 3 of his Spirit Flasks, so he goes down to 4 wounds, but both of these 2 Nighthaunt who are on 3 wounds are killed. And the Night Questor is safe because he's out of range. And then, because he's charged, he can actually be selected to pile in, even though he's not within 3 inches anymore, so he'll just pile into there, come a bit further round. So he's on 4 wounds, but I definitely take this objective now.
Gain 2 victory points and go up to 4 as well. Now that's the end of Battle Round 2. I'll go on to Battle Round 3. So we're on to Battle Round 3, rolling off.
Oh, it's a tie.
And I picked, so I get to choose. And I will choose to go first. So we're on to Nighthaunt turn 3. Well, we're down to the 2 backup heroes. So first up, the Guardian of Souls is going to try and cast Arcane Bolt. Needing a 5. Getting a 1 in the box. And getting a 5.
So I need a 6 to unbind it, which I get.
Well, then in the movement phase, it's going to be very simple. Well, he's going to move so we're 3 inches away from the Night Questor, essentially. And then we're both going to charge. So Spirit Torment will charge first. He gets an 11. And then the Guardian of Souls as well gets a 6. That's definitely enough. So they're both going to move around Lord Arcanum. I'm going to pick the Spirit Torment to go first. He's going to put all of his attacks on the Lord Arcanum. He has 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Getting 2 hits. Wounding on 2s. Getting 2 wounds, minus 2 rend.
So 5 plus save. Made one, failed one.
D3 damage. For 2, down to 2 wounds.
Well, Arcanum had better go in case the Guardian of Souls kills him, so he'll attack the Guardian of Souls. As you can pardon a little bit. So everything on the Guardian of Souls. With his stick, he has 4 attacks hitting on 3s, getting 3, and wounding on 3s as well. Getting 1, not good.
4 plus save, failed.
D3 damage, 1. And then the Griff Charger has 3 attacks hitting on 3s, 6 is called a mortal wound. We've got a mortal wound and a hit, and wound on a 3. And it does.
4 plus save, made it. So 3 wounds left on the Guardian of Souls. Guardian of Souls will go next and put his attacks on the Lord Arcanum. 3 attacks hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. Whoa, only did mortal wounds. 3 hits, wounding on 2s. Getting 3 wounds, minus 1 rend.
4 plus save, got to pass 2 of these. Oh, I failed all 3, so he's dead.
So the Lord Arcanum goes down. Can the Night Questor get revenge?
He doesn't need to move, he's going to put all his attacks on the Guardian of Souls because he's only got 3 wounds left. 4 attacks hitting on 3s, re-rolling everything. So re-roll those 2s into 4 hits. Wounding on 3s, 6 to 2 damage, or 2 6s and another wound.
I'll do the 2 6s first, 4 plus, made both. And then another wound, failed, so down to 2 wounds. But at the end of my turn, I will hold both objectives and gain 6 victory points and go up to 10.
So on to my turn. There's nothing else to do other than go straight to the combat phase and fight again, or try and kill the Guardian of Souls and, well, yeah. 4 attacks hitting on 3s, re-rolling, well, they'll hit anyway. Wounding on 3s, and that's cock. 2 wounds and no 6s.
2 4 plus saves that I made both. It's probably academic at this point, but the Spirit Torment will move into range. He has 3 attacks hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. 1 hit so far, 2 hits. Wounding on 2s, getting 2, minus 2 rend.
So 5 plus saves, re-rolling 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
So there's a weird interaction. So that's 1. I can't re-roll that 4 because it would be a success before modifiers. So
D3 damage, 2.
Down to 3 wounds.
And then the Guardian of Souls gets to go. 3 attacks hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. Roll that 1. 3 hits. Wounding on 2s. 3 wounds. Minus 1 rend.
4 plus saves, rolling 1s and 2s. So that 3 goes through, down to 2 wounds.
Yeah, that's the end of the turn, where the Stormcast do not regain an objective.
And at this point, I'm just going to concede, because even if I go first in the battle round and kill the Guardian of Souls, I still can't take that objective off the Nighthaunt, so then in their turn 4, they will gain 8 victory points, and it'll be 18 to 4, and I've got no hope of getting enough victory points to win.
You need to do 7 damage.
It's not going to happen.
So we'll call that a Nighthaunt victory, and recap that game for you now. So that was the game for issue 61 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine. How did you think that went?
Well, not very well, really. I think the fact you had the double turn was quite important, but although I was able to take the objectives in the first turn, once you were able to take them, I then actually couldn't take them back off you, really.
Because they're worth more on later turns, it doesn't really matter if you take them in the first turn.
No. So forcing me to go first, although I did take the objectives, actually meant that I was kind of in a position for you to dictate where you were going to... I did make a mistake in moving my Lord Exorcist to allow you to to get your Knight Shrouds out of range of the Lord Arcanum. If I'd had that round of attacks, the Knight Shrouds might have been dead. Although not that he did anything more for the rest of the game, to be fair, because he just got blown up, but it still would have meant the Lord Arcanum might have been able to do something else. Yeah, overall, I think you just had the initiative throughout most of the game.
I did win every roll-off, that really helped, and I think I made a mistake in leaving the Knight of Shrouds where he was, so you could blow both him and Reikenor up. But I suppose there's other things like, I think Reikenor rolled pretty poor. I think he rolled 3 1s to wound when he needed a 2, so that's pretty annoying, but he probably should have killed the Knight Azeroth early on.
Yeah, there are a few things where the dice didn't quite go your way, but then again, my Lord Arcanum wasn't very effective in melee anyway.
Yeah, but I think it probably ended up going my way more often than not. I did manage to cast most of my spells as well. I don't think he managed to cast... Did he manage to cast any?
Yeah, the Lord Exorcist was dead before he could cast a second spell, and then the Lord Arcanum got unbound, I think.
There's a pretty fair amount of variation in the choices of heroes you take, so it might be worth playing this multiple times, but these are the heroes I would usually take given the choice. The Lord Executioner would probably do okay. He does give heroes -1 to hit. And Reichenor's really good. I think the main issue is things like the Tomb Badge and the Care is they need the extra wound.
I suppose the Briar Queen is quite good because of her shooting attack. Her shooting is actually quite dangerous against heroes because of that -3 rend.
Her spell might be able to damage multiple Stormcast at once. And you kind of want to take wizards as well because there's so many Stormcast wizards. I think you could quite easily take an all-wizard Stormcast army or take 2 Lords Arcanum as well.
Yeah, my list was... I had so many options, really. I could have brought a Knight Incantor as well for the Mortal Wound Aura spell, and also the Void Storm Scroll would have been pretty handy.
Yeah, probably would have been useful. You could have had 2 Knights Incantor.
The reason for bringing the Lord Exorcist was because he has 4 attacks in melee, so he's a bit better than a Knight Incantor, and he also has the spell with the Blast Radius that does D3 mortal wounds, and his stick can do mortal wounds in the shooting phase as well, but he never actually got a chance to do that. I brought that Lord Arcanum because he has the healing spell, but there was nobody to heal, because then nobody was wounded at the time when he spells. I could have picked almost any heroes and they would have been quite good, apart from the Lord Ordinator, who obviously is kind of useless in this scenario because he's there to improve your ballistics.
Yeah, I think his 4+ save is actually more probably a hindrance for the Lord Ordinator.
And he's not very good in melee, and his command ability isn't necessary.
Yeah, there probably is an argument for going for just 5 heroes, just have numbers.
That's true, given that objectives are actually the point of this.
I mean, I did get the Triumph as a nice bonus, but I'm not sure that made that much difference. Don't imagine Triumphs would be enough to decide a game.
No,
very rarely, I think.
But I don't think they're supposed to. I think they're supposed to be a sort of a little bonus that isn't going to be game-breaking or game-changing, but at the same time, if you use it at the right moment, it can just give you that little edge.
I mean, in theory, it would be better for a really big unit.
Yeah, it'd affect any unit the same amount. It's designed to be a little nice to have thing for winning your last game, and I suppose it does achieve that.
And I guess it's nice to be on a different realm as well. I'm not sure how often the rule for the River of Fire will come up, because I don't think we actually play on this side of the board that often, unfortunately, but it's a nice bit of variety. At least it has something unique to this board that the Realm of Metal and Life and Death didn't have.
It's also nice to get the terrain with this issued straight away when we get the new board, because with the Realm of Metal board, we had no terrain on it for ages.
Yeah, and the Realm of Life as well.
Yeah, so we had a plain board with nothing on it, which was just a bit dull.
I'm not sure you can actually get this terrain anymore. It's part of the Enduring Stormvault, but it might not be on sale anymore.
It's reasonably good value for it, I suppose. Probably ends up being cheaper than buying it all separately.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, it does look quite nice when it's painted, actually. I did follow the guide for them, and they do look quite good.
We don't have actually the rules for the Realm of Fire yet either, but just playing on a different realm after playing the Realm of Metal for 20 issues is just a bit more interesting as well. Although I think the next 20 issues actually jump around the realms a fair bit, don't they?
Yeah, when you finally sort of learn what the Nighthaunt's end goal is.
Oh yeah, the plot is still fairly minimal for this game, but at least it sort of exists. They have actually escaped the Realm of Metal with what they were looking for, and now they're trying to find something to continue their scheme. So there's a little bit of story to it at least, which is more than could be said for some of the issues we've had.
Well, other than that, I don't think there's too much more to say about this game or this issue, so as always, if you like this content, do leave a like and subscribe, and leave any comments, and if you play this game, tell us how you got on. Otherwise, we've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.